Wow, just look at me go. So many important projects and so much free time to fill. Do you ever just want to clone yourself so you can do it all? It kind of seemed like at the beginning of summer, like I was about to have a breakthrough on that front. Either that or some kind of breakdown. But yeah, creativity comes from everything and everywhere, doesn't it? I was trying to do like a cool angle, keep it interesting. At the beginning of the summer, I'd had this really strong feeling of wanting to make the most of all this free time that I had. So this first project was this dress form that I inherited, and I thought I'd make a fun video of the process of cleaning it and altering it to my size. I'd had this project in the back of my mind for months, but just not the time or space to execute it properly. And now I was finally free, and no one could stop me. She's alive!
Oj! Vad du skräms!
Den kommer gå att använda.
Absolut. Den kommer gå att använda hur bra som helst ju.
Ja.
Hopp, då går jag till lite shopping. Skräms inget mer.
And to be honest, I was also kind of afraid of the feeling of falling behind. Okay, but we're not done yet. If you've ever been online, I'm sure you've seen any expert tell you that momentum is key. You know, just keep going. So yeah, we're not done yet. I have a dress form now and I'm very excited to use it. I'm really excited about the future of my sewing. Like, I've been sewing casually for a few years and I'm excited about getting into some more advanced sewing. I'm not very proficient with patterns, and I think being able to use a dress form to do fittings with my own measurements is going to greatly improve my understanding of sewing. And yeah, all of that was true. I just think that maybe I was trying to cram too much into too little time, which, if you don't know me, is kind of my main personality traits. Somehow I just couldn't seem to slow down, even though looking back now, I really needed proper rest. And I'm not just talking for the week, I mean for like a proper while. I mean, I even made a video about it. So the next project was to try a new sewing pattern from one of these magazines. Trace it onto paper in the right size, find fabric, cut the fabric, sew the fabric together, use it with a dress form. And I don't know, it's really weird looking at this now because I just was completely clueless at the time. When you're starting to get close to burnout or overworking yourself, that is when you are least aware of what it is you're doing. Ta-da! So I just kept going. And I guess also everything online was kind of telling me that if I just kept going, things were going to get better. I would gain momentum, I would feel more creative, I would be more productive. All of those typical pitfalls of being online. And because I'd started the channel with the motivation to make art for myself and have fun with it, I could just tell myself that it was for my own good, you know? So, just to reiterate, the things that I was trying to get done the week before we were supposed to go away for the summer were these. I had a dress form that I wanted to fix up and pad out to my measurements. I wanted to try a new sewing pattern, both trace and make the actual garment. I wanted to do the final touches of the living room because I felt like I had promised a video showing you the process. And spoiler alert, it's not really finished yet. I mean, it's good enough, but there's, cushions and some wall stuff that I want to get up. Or we want to get up, because it's not just my living room. But also, I wanted to edit 2 or 3 videos before we went away. Does that seem like a logical amount of stuff to do? Well, you didn't think so. My partner literally had to tell me to slow down because I was in such a one-track mind. Several tracks? I don't know. So there was a video that I saw at some point at the beginning of summer where someone recommended this book, and I thought it was Lena Norm's, and I tried to find the video so that I could put it here and show you, but I can't find the video, and I don't know who else it could have been to suggest me a book. And I was going to make a thing about, divine intervention. So at this point, it kind of feels like divine intervention, because I have no idea where this recommendation is coming from, but someone suggested How to Do Nothing by Jenny Odell. It was a recommendation that came just at the right time. In the book, she talks a lot about creativity. She's a visual artist, and she talks about how she implements doing nothing into her art practice. And she also discusses some psychological and other philosophical aspects of doing nothing, and how we as humans have always gravitated towards doing too much, and how that messes with our thought process. And then I went to Yorkshire. Not only did I not have my projects with me, I had no creative material or tools to work with. So doing nothing wasn't just theoretical anymore. We took long walks, spent time in nature, talked to each other, and read books. And suddenly, my mind felt clearer. Media companies continue churning out deliberately incendiary takes, and we're so quickly outraged by their headlines that we can't even consider the option of not reading and sharing them. In such a context, the need to periodically step away is more obvious than ever. Like the early union strike employees who wandered away from their jobs, we absolutely require distance and time to be able to see the mechanisms we thoughtlessly submit to. More than that, we need distance and time to be functional enough to do or think anything meaningful at all. Burnout isn't necessarily being tired, it's not realizing that you are tired or not feeling that you're tired until you actually can't do anything. I began feeling calm in a way that I hadn't in a long time. So then, coming back home, that's what I kept doing. I longed to be outside, to feel present with friends and family, and stopped worrying about impressing people. And suddenly, my creative ideas felt exciting and fun, and I didn't want to push them. I think I just lost track of the systems that I have set in place to figure out the creative projects that are worth my time, which I think is important because I'm not a full-time artist anymore. I have a part-time job, and then also I have a life. I forgot that in order to output, you need input. And input isn't necessarily just engaging with media. It's taking a break, it's resting, it's sleeping, exercising, and it's living life. Sometimes it's really easy to forget that the internet, the online world, and real life are two separate things. On an individual level, it's really easy to get caught up in thinking the online is everything, but it's not. So yeah, I think this book really delivered some harsh truth, but also because I had to slow down and do nothing. It wasn't just reading the book and thinking, wow, this is changing my life. I had to actually kind of implement the things. So some of the things from the book that I'm taking with me are taking breaks. Jenny Odell talks about the courses that she's led. She implements quiet 15 minutes breaks. No one's allowed to scroll on their phone. You just leave your phone, your computer and everything, and you sit outside and just look at stuff. Engage with being bored. And another thing that I've noticed that I tend to do is that I try to carry all of my projects in my brain at one time. And that means that my brain never gets to rest, even when I'm trying to do nothing, because the brain is always planning. And I know that works for some people. I know that Brandon Sanderson has suggested that to people, but I can't do that. I can't plan 4 projects at the same time in my brain. Having been through a burnout, my capacity for juggling stuff is impaired at this point. I wasn't enjoying the things that I was making anymore because I was trying to do everything at once. And I lost track of why I was doing them. The systems that I have previously put in place kind of just went away. An overstimulated mind can't think nuanced thoughts, or has a lower ability to think nuanced thoughts. And I think that's an important takeaway as someone who is creative and wants to do a lot of stuff and wants to think, accept that many things can be true at once. If you're like me and you have an overactive brain, I thought maybe these themes could be relevant here as well. I'm sure this is going to resonate with more people, basically. This is a channel where I talk about creativity. Because I've taken a break and I'm approaching this autumn with a fresh mind, with a new outlook, a new perspective, thought that I might publish every other week just for a little while. Get into the habit of actually taking breaks. I'm doing this because I want it to be fun. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've had a wonderful summer. And some of the things that I mentioned in this video, like the living room and some other stuff, are in the works. It's going to take a little bit of time. I hope I'll see you back here soon. Take care. But creativity comes from everywhere and everything, right? Ja. Så what does it all mean? Okej, jag tänkte snurra runt och göra en korridor.
Ja.
En ren.